and we'll do a debate. Hey, thanks for having me on. How you doing today, Mr. Millionaire Bachelor guy? Just living the dream. So I don't really know what the backstory is. I got a message that you were definitely a guy I should be talking to. Maybe you can kind of briefly tell me why that is, because I'm not exactly sure. Sure. If you don't mind, I don't mean to cut you off. I want your whole backstory. But if I stop you systematically, it's just so I can get clarification on something. That's all. Do you mind if I ask how you became a millionaire?
I started in Philadelphia. I started out with a property that was, pretty modest, about $168,000. Purchased it with a first-time home buyer, 3% down. Wasn't a lot. I also went to them for seller's assist. So they gave me another extra 3%. So all out of pocket at probably like $7,000 to get that house that was about $168,000. About 2 years later, it appreciated for about $388,000. I was working within the healthcare industry, healthcare finance, and I knew nothing about real estate. I go online and I said, hey, I have one house, I want two. And the first thing that popped up was equity. So I read these Zillow threads that told me how to pull out equity. I'm making $50,000 at the time. I'm not making shit. Well, at the time it was a little bit. But anyway, I call my bank and I say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at getting some equity. And they said, okay, how much would you like? I said, well, you know what? How much could I get? I was like a child in a fucking suit.
You called the bank to ask them for equity?
What'd you say?
You called the bank to ask them for equity?
Yeah, because you need a line, either a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan.
Okay, so you called them to get credit.
Well, either credit or a loan, but this one actually turned out to be a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so, but mind you, at the time, I didn't know any of this. So I'm just calling the bank randomly, asking them for, just as crazy as it might sound. Yeah, I said, hey, I want to pull out equity for my home. And they said, okay, cool.
Well, I mean, that's pretty common though, right? People pull equity out of their homes all the time.
Yeah, but at the time I was like 22, so I knew nothing. I was like a pup. Yeah, I'm in my early 30s now. But anyway, they told me, hey, yeah, you qualify for 99.5, so 99,500. Now, I almost pissed my pants because I probably at 50,000 salary, I wouldn't have seen that for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled that money out, bought my second property, and that's when Airbnb was pretty big. So what I did then was all the single family homes that I had, I split them into 3. So just 3 different compartments. An example would be if I bought a home, it had 2 exits. The back of the house I would have as a separate unit from the top house, the other portion of the house. And what that allowed me to do was start buying homes at the single family price, but also getting revenue or cash flow of a triplex or in some cases quadruplex. I did that for a long time. Then I converted into.
And you turned them all into Airbnbs?
Majority of them at the time.
Okay.
At the time, I started small because obviously I hadn't, I'm coming from no money.
Now, obviously you don't want to dox yourself, but can you tell me like kind of the general area where this occurred?
Well, yeah, I've already said it a million times. Philadelphia. I started in Philadelphia, then I expanded to Washington, D.C., and my current home is New York City. So.
Okay, gotcha.
But by the time I got to New York, I converted all the properties back to their original use because Airbnb was kind of dying at the time. And I had made so much cash flow that I didn't need Airbnb anymore because, running an Airbnb service is not just about the Airbnb, it's also about the staff that you have, in terms of your cleaners, stockers, and there's a whole lot that goes into it. And it became a point where it made more sense to just, cash flow on long-term, long-term leases.
Okay, so I think I understand. So you made your millions or million or however much you have in essentially renting out properties via Airbnb. When that dried up, you started renting them out in a different way, right?
Yeah, mixed portfolio. So I've always kept it mixed. So the first couple years, it was all Airbnbs. It's about 3 properties. But as I kept continuing going on, I started buying duplexes, triplexes. Well, not duplexes, I already had that, but triplexes, quadruplexes, So then I was balancing the portfolio, but it got to a point where um, Airbnb was just no longer efficient. You know, if you have that much expense and you're not making that much revenue, then it just kind of doesn't make any sense to do Airbnb anymore.
Yeah, I
So
mean, a
all
lot
the
of people make tons of money on Airbnbs and property rentals and that type of thing. So I was just curious on that point.
Sure.
Moving forward from that point, can I ask a couple of questions? The first
course.
question is, why are you wearing a mask?
I'm wearing a mask, and obviously you don't know my story, so let me explain a little bit. Outside of doing the real estate, I'm also an artist as well. I paint giant murals all over the hottest spots in Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and DC. So, and I also drive some pretty noticeable cars, 911s, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Kind of stepped away from that in the last couple of years because of the attention that it garnered and the fame. You know, I was taught a lesson that, you know, not all fame is good fame. You know, having somebody know exactly who you are, and you're walking down the street and they know you and you don't know them, is not necessarily the best thing. So I
But I
think
mean, if you're that recognizable, you're not using a voice changer.
I'm not using the voice changer.
Yeah, I know, but that's my point. If you were that recognizable, wouldn't people be able to recognize you just by your voice?
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, I think in my instance, it was, I mean, I own some pretty landmark buildings, and when you're driving around in certain cars and being as young as I am, um, you kind of get a audience or a crowd. And
Yeah, that's my point though. If you have an audience or crowd or hangers on or people who are around you, which is very common for millionaires, wouldn't they
Sure.
be able to just know who you were by your voice?
No, I don't. I mean, nobody's ever. Yeah, nobody's ever said, "Hey, yo, are you on? Are you on YouTube?"
Yeah, right. But I mean, if the point, well, then what would be the point of the mask anyway?
Well, the mask is just to hide my identity. You know, like I said, I really shy away from fame. I just don't want the fame. I
Well, you
don't
can
want.
realize the skepticism of people if you say that you're a millionaire bachelor and you have
Sure.
these various opinions, and yet you won't show your face. You can understand why people would be distrustful of that, because they would think perhaps if you did have your face out there, people could see it, that they could then check out the story and see if it's true or false.
Well, if you actually follow my channel, and if you've been following it from the beginning, I actually do show parts of my life, pretty big monumental parts of my life, but it's all obscured. Like, I'll be swimming inside of my 4,000 square foot garden in Manhattan, which is almost unheard of. But I'll be doing it through night vision, so you don't necessarily see who I am. Or in my intros, I'm driving in Porsche 911. So on my community channel, I'll post what my tag is so people will see it. Or if I'm riding in helicopters, so the people that actually follow me actually do get to see my story. It's just I just don't want to disclose myself.
Do they know who you are?
What'd you say?
Do your followers know who you are?
To be honest, they probably do. They probably look me up a million times. I mean, if I'm showing my
And
license
if
plate,
everybody already knows who you are, then who cares?
no, because I do it in a different way. So I'll post something and I'll delete it in 5 hours or something like that. But I'm pretty sure somebody has a screen share of my Porsche 911 with the license plate that says whatever it says. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, but am I trying to forcefully put that out there? But here's another thing that I want to bring up. I come from a different lifestyle. I come from an area where not many people make it out. So my outlook on life is a little bit different.
I mean, that's every area.
Well, that's true too. And my outlook on things is very different. From the things that I've seen in my childhood, and I'm just very confident in myself that I don't care about what anybody else thinks. My material is just really just to display my life, and the reason why I'm displaying my life, and the reason why I'm telling people these things, and when I first started doing real estate, YouTube is where I came. Google is where I came. When I wanted to learn about women, this is where I came. I've even seen a lot of your content, and highly respected for it. I like a lot of your content. But again, I am nothing more than just an individual that is showing his life.
Okay, well, I got your backstory, and it's not really my business who you are or whether you choose to show your face or not, or to check out your backstory to know if you're actually a millionaire. I don't really care about that, honestly. I just wanted to get kind of the purview of what it is that we're discussing. So what Speakeasy let me know was that you had some rather controversial views about male-female dynamics, and I was hoping we could get into that.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, so maybe you can give me an overview of what those are. And then also, do you teach these things to men? Is that part of what you're doing, or?
Not really. I just tell people these are my personal views. I mean, take it for whatever you want it. If you want to believe it, you can. If not, then don't. I don't really preach anything to anybody.
Okay. So what are these views that you have?
Well, I think that women are inferior for sure. You know, I think in every metrics, women really can't stack up to a man. And the reason why I bring that up is because I think there's just an overabundance of confidence when it comes to the area of the women, you know, to the point where the common man is not even respected. And you have people, I actually saw the clip with you and the woman that was freaking 300 pounds who thinks she's an 8. And I'm, you know, here to really honestly set the record straight. You know, I don't think that you're not human, but I do honestly, I respect the fact that you are inferior to me.
Okay, so I'll grant that men and women have a distinct ontology. Their state of being, in other words, is completely different from one another. And there's biological metrics for why. But I'm not sure on this inferior thing. When you say inferior, maybe you can tell me what that means. What does it mean that they're inferior to you?
I mean, women are childlike. You know, they're ruled by their emotions. So, you know, if you are trying to build a society,
so then you take responsibility for everything that they do, right?
One more time.
So then you take responsibility for everything that they do.
Do I take responsibility for everything a woman does?
Yeah.
If I was in a situation, I guess I would have to.
Yeah, you'd have to because you're infantilizing them, right?
I'm who?
You're infantilizing them. You're saying that they're childlike, so they don't have agency. They're less than you. They're like children. So if you consider women to be like children, you can't actually hold them responsible for anything, just like can't hold children responsible for anything. Don't you see that that's an absurd and untenable position?
Isn't that what happens in reality?
No, it's not what happens in reality. The whole point of the men's rights advocacy is that women be held responsible for the actions that they do, and we don't believe that that women are not responsible for their actions because they're childlike. In fact, I would say the opposite, that women often know exactly what they're doing and just don't give a shit. And same with some men, I guess, if you want to use a what about the Mindo. But with women specifically, it seems like they don't enjoy taking responsibility, but I don't see why they shouldn't take responsibility.
Yeah, so I think you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm given the current state. I'm not saying how things are. I'm saying in the current state, women are childlike because the system has empowered them to not really have to care, you know, not really have to grow the fuck up. And that's just the reality. You know, when you look at the sentences between men and women in terms of jail time, our system doesn't hold them accountable. So I'm telling men right now what's going on. Women are inferior because they're behaving that way on a mass level. And
so let me guess, you probably want a harem, I'm guessing? Whole bunch of different women?
No, I don't want a harem. I mean, I'll take 2, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, why do you want to date children, dude?
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, this is a logical extension. I'm not. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm explaining the logical extension. If you're infantilizing women and saying that they're like children, then wouldn't the logical extension be that you want to date a bunch of children, mentally children, not physically, but mentally?
Yeah, mentally. Thank you for clarifying that. Listen, I'll be honest. I'll be the first to admit it. You know, women can be a pain in the ass, but they're necessary. They were literally created for men, and men were literally created for women.
That doesn't sound inferior.
I'm sorry?
That doesn't sound like they're inferior.
Well, again, I think you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the current state, what's going on right now, the way that they're behaving right now, they're behaving in like you can't miss it. You can't miss it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the descriptors of now saying that certain sects of the population don't have to take any responsibility. So let me counter, in fact, with this.
Of course,
I would say that beautiful women or hot women don't have to take much accountability. I would say that that's true. But I think ugly women and obese women and things like this do kind of have to take a bit of accountability. Unfortunately, when they're left 30 years old with their cats, things like this, suddenly they start looking at female responsibility and they start moving over to the men's advocacy side, interestingly enough, right? So it's not that society really is, or that the descriptor is that the society holds no women responsible. It just seems like simps don't hold women responsible for anything.
Yes, but that's what the system is made up of. Majority simps.
Yeah, but the thing is like, how could it not be if essentially guys like you infantilize women and claim that they're childlike? I mean, it kind of opens the door to say, well, then we don't need to hold them responsible, right? Because they don't know what they're doing. They're too dumb. They're too stupid. They're too whatever. We can't hold them responsible. That seems like it's counterintuitive.
No, I think we're missing each other. So I'm not saying that, like, just how you had like the child remark, and I kind of like missed that. What I'm trying to say about this, do I think that women are in? It's almost a play on of words, and maybe I need to clarify and get more descriptive. The women that are running around rampant in these cities are inferior. You know, I'm not saying that the general woman is going to be inferior to a man, because yes, she's counterpart to a man. I think we all should understand that. But I'm saying the current system that we have, it's really not in the man's best interest to really date these type of women, which is why
I totally agree with that that's counterproductive to men. But I want to hold all of these women responsible for the things that they do. And I think that the system should, because I think that morally they're just as responsible for their actions as men are. And I think that we're supposed to be holding them responsible for these actions. So, for instance, the way that the court system holds bias against men as opposed to women, when it comes to everything from custody to even criminal activity, to basically everything in between, there's definitely a bias towards women, which seems to be held up inside of society. And I think that this is the exact ideology that comes from, is the infantilization of saying that women are kid-like, they're childlike, they're inferior, things like this. Wouldn't the system then, if it deems it that, treat them like children? If a child commits a crime, they get a lesser punishment. That makes sense. If a child does something wrong, they get a lesser, sort of consequence for it, because you don't consider them to be rational moral agents yet because they're children. Don't we want women to be rational moral agents so that they can get the consequences for the shit they do?
Yeah, I mean, I would happen to agree with you on that. However, again, me saying that women are inferior, I'm talking about the system that is created that you don't like. I'm just calling it out. That's all I'm doing.
Well, then the system would be inferior. I still don't see how the women themselves are inferior. I think that there's definitely a distinction, and there's many things they're inferior at. But I'm not sure that it. So when I'm talking about inferior in this sense, I'm talking about moral agency or moral capacity. So I think that women are as capable of moral decision making as men are, and they're just not held accountable very often for that moral decision making that's bad.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I can't disagree with that. You know,
Yeah.
I think that from what you're saying is basically, if we don't hold them accountable and we say that they're inferior, then obviously they won't behave that way.
Right.
And I'm trying to just call out what's going on. So it seems like I'm pretty much perpetuating that, and I'm only just trying to call out what's going on right now.
It does seem like you're perpetuating it from my end.
No, I get it. I understand that. I'm a pretty out there individual. Sometimes I can, clarify my words a little bit better. I agree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a problem. Right now we're having a condition of a competing worldview here, and so I would much rather move you over to my worldview, though, right? Not ostracize you from it. So what I'd rather see is, if you're going to advocate, instead of saying women are inferior or they're like infants or things like this, instead I would say instead, no, they're morally equal to men in a moral category, and therefore all moral decision making they make, they need to be held exactly as accountable as a man would be.
Well, I'll be honest, I 1000% agree with that.
Yes,
I can't disagree with that.
Perfect. So now I think we're kind of getting somewhere.
Sure.
So then, moving from that, You sure you won't take the mask off? I don't think anybody's going to care, dude.
They will.
They're going to care?
Yeah.
Why?
Three-letter word.
Why would they care?
Well, at my level, and I'm pretty sure you've probably experienced this as well. There's a lot of variables here. In these political cities that I'm located in, I will be a target for sure, 1,000%. With the things that I do, whether it's somebody might come at me for a building permit or not allow me to do this or turn something down or give me extra fines. They play dirty in the cities that I'm in, and also a three-letter word, IRS, and they can make shit up, figure things out, not figure things out. It becomes dangerous for me.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were saying things which were really affecting change, it's not like having the mask on would prevent any three-letter government agency from figuring out who the fuck you are anyway, right?
Well, that's true. I guess they could if they wanted to.
Yeah. So.
I'll let them do the work.
Okay. All right. So, what are some of these other kind of controversial issues and ideologies?
I think that Black America, I think that they have diluted their gene pool. I think that they mate incorrectly. I think that the mating standards for Black America is pretty backwards. Yeah. And I do think that the intelligence level has gone down as their mating strategies have deteriorated. No longer is it about getting with the best candidate. Now it's about getting with the most lit candidate or the person who has the the hottest car, the fastest. The morals of the Black community is just outright upside down, and I do believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but let's back up a little bit here, just so I can make sure. So this may be actually maybe we should move off of it because of TOS purposes, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I did want to dive into it a little bit. Okay, so let's move on to the next one though.
I think that Mexican families in America generally do not care about anything outside of their household. Typically speaking, they do tend to be very family oriented, but they don't really care about the fabric of America.
By which generation? You mean first generation?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I think first generation.
But like third generation Hispanics are almost indistinguishable from a white guy, right?
I will give you that one. I will give you that
they're
one.
basically indistinguishable. I mean, there's not even an accent anymore.
I have to give you that one. You're absolutely right. So yeah, maybe like first or second.
Yeah. First generation, many of them aren't even respecting the laws. So I can kind of grant that. But to say that they don't feel like they have any external community duties, they're all Catholics, right?
Well, I don't know, man. It's like it gets a little bit dicey. But generally speaking, I just don't see that they have. It's not America. They still fly the Mexican flag before the American flag. And, sometimes they don't even fly the American flag at all.
Like the leftist tards do in the left-wing city. But, a lot of those, like a lot of those things that you see inside of when you see like the Hispanic flags being flown and this and that, oftentimes those are the, second, third, fourth generation Hispanics who are actually doing that because they're liberal progressives and they're in these kind of progressive indoctrination centers, and they utilize that as a political statement. But I'm not really sure that. So it seems like Hispanics are trending more and more conservative inside of the United States. They're trending more and more conservative, especially if you look at places like Florida. Even I think Texas will start to see that swing as well. Not by the first generation because they just kind of want the entitlements that come with it. They don't really even understand the political landscape. They're just like, oh, you're going to help me and my family? Okay, we'll do it. But it's very strange to me that you kind of think that they only care about their family. Obviously, they have tons of external obligations through the church, right?
Yeah, I mean, not really. Like if when you're living in the city like New York City, I mean, they're just rampantly taking advantage of the system, and also, me being in like the whole Airbnb space early on, probably about 10 years ago, I got to see it firsthand. A lot of my cleaners had access cards. When I first started in Philadelphia, an access card is welfare. When I was working in healthcare, I would often see a name and uh, see where they were from, and I would bring it up to my manager at the time, and I'd say, wait, how are they getting Medicare and Medicaid if they're not citizens, and why are they like 2 years old? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, but
They,
let us for a moment
sure.
displace you from where you're at. And we're going
Hmm.
to assume for a second that you're a Hispanic illegal immigrant.
Right.
So you look at the landscape, and your government inside of Mexico is offering you incentives to cross the border. Like they did
Right.
this, they did this during the lockdowns, for instance. They were like, "Hey, if you go across the border, you can actually qualify for all this relief funding from the right." But they actually incentivize people to go across the border, right? They incentivize it every which way they can. So you go across the border, right, and all these entitlements are available to you that were not available to you in Mexico. From their perspective, wouldn't you take advantage of them?
Of course,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make it right.
Well, I mean, what's wrong about it if that's the law of the land from their perspective? They're just following the law of the land, right?
But I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about it from a liberal perspective, I'm not saying you're a liberal, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're
From a
talking about it through
progressive perspective, yeah,
yeah, if you're looking at it through the progressive perspective, then yeah, you're spot on.
yeah, yeah. So I think, I
But
think when
from a
I think about
conservative
these
perspective,
issues, this is why I think we needed a wall, and why it is that we need to have a complete and total moratorium on immigration.
yeah,
Is
I
for
agree.
exactly this reason, is because of displacement, which happens inside of the United States. But I don't actually, for the most part, blame the illegals coming in. If I was in their situation and was offered all of these incentives, I'd fucking do it too,
Yeah,
right?
no, 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 I get that, and I understand you what you're saying, Andrew. And you're absolutely right. They're doing what they're supposed, what they're not supposed to do, but they're doing what was broadcast to them. But however, it just puts a strain on America, and I have to bring that up. I have to talk about it.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's not fair to our citizens at all. No, that's
No,
fucking
I mean, if
awful.
you if
It's awful what's going on, but it's our elected leadership fucking doing it. I mean, we do it to ourselves because we're insane, right? We're the only nation that allows essentially an open border with a nation to the south of us, which is insane. So, but anyway, off that topic, because I think we got agreement there too. What's kind of the next controversial take you've got?
I don't really think I have too many controversial takes. I think that men should really prioritize, but maybe me and you might differ on this one. I think that men should prioritize, achieving more. And if you're in a major city, not necessarily focusing too much on relationships because, you're surrounded by individuals that will kind of distract you from achieving your goals. You might I don't know. From your perspective, you might want the man to also take that as serious as reaching their goals. But I know me personally. I mean, there were just so many women that were around, through other friends, and they kind of just try to distract me, but they could never do it because I was too focused. I think that men have an issue right now with focus. They're not focused at all, and they're not focused because of what's going on with the women. The women are sleeping with all the Chads, all the Tyrones, and I might even be considered one of the Chads and Tyrones. I got the money. I'm 6'2", driving sports cars, but I'm calling the shit out too because even at my level, it gets kind of fucking insane and ridiculous.
So
These
let me
women,
ask you a question. Do you sleep with a lot of women?
I used to. About I would say like a year and a half ago, I was sleeping with probably like one chick every other day, maybe.
Well, what do you do now?
Uh, now it's more so, I really value my space and my time. So if a woman is in my space and in my time, even if we sleep together, that genuinely means or generally means that I want to see that woman again in a romantic fashion
Okay, so
or
you don't
in
see
a
any
relationship.
any kind of moral issue then with promiscuity from men to women?
There is an issue with that, of course.
Then why are you engaging in it?
I'm not. I just told you that I don't sleep with as many women, and I'm
As many meaning how many?
I mean, now it's maybe like one chick per week.
Okay, that's pretty promiscuous, right? That's 52 women a year, right?
It is, Andrew. You caught me.
Yeah, that's pretty promiscuous, right?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's pretty promiscuous. So the thing is let me ask you a question. Do you think that every time a woman sleeps with a new man, it lowers her value and virtue to other men?
Of course.
Then why are you doing that to them?
Well, it's not that I'm doing that to sleep with other women. I actually want to take things seriously with these women that I'm sleeping with, but it's just
every week? You want to take it seriously every week with a new woman? What?
Wait,
that doesn't sound like you're trying to take it seriously.
We didn't say new. Some are recycled.
Well, then that's not one woman a week. That's
Oh, I thought you meant like how much sex am I having per week? My bad.
Yeah, how many different women are you sleeping with per year?
Oh, not 52. I mean, come on, give me like a good 20.
25?
Yeah, about 20.
Okay, so 20. I mean, so the thing is though, is that every single time. So this is my kind of argument here that I can't get past, and I've been trying to. Maybe you can help me out. If every time you sleep with a new woman, right, you know that you're not going to commit to her and that's going to devalue her for the next guy, then aren't you doing something wrong?
Can she be saved?
Well, I don't know what that means.
Some women are just beyond being saved. I mean, some women are that's just what they do,
Yeah, but don't you think that men and women look at the idea of sexual dynamics differently? So
yeah, completely.
A woman thinks if a man is promiscuous and I'm promiscuous, we're equally yoked, and that's not actually true, right? So
I agree with that.
Yeah, we value in women chastity, right?
Yeah, we do.
We do, and they don't value chastity in us, right?
I would happen to agree with that.
Yeah. So if that's true, and we value chastity, and they don't value chastity, then from their perspective, they also think you don't value chastity.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? This is where we're going to disagree, and I do agree with your point, but I'll be honest, Andrew. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and
I mean, harder than a plumber.
Well, I've done plumbing before.
Yeah, no, but harder than a plumber?
Well, I've done that before, and probably, yeah.
Harder than a welder? Harder than an electrician? Harder than a construction worker?
I know how to do electricity as well.
You know how to do electrical work?
I taught myself.
Yeah. How many wires are on a 110 line?
With the outlet, I can tell you how to do an outlet.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's talk about an outlet. How many wires?
There are 3. I believe it's 3.
Yeah. What colors are they?
Usually black, white, and red. Sometimes red. Depends on how old the system is.
Black, white, and
red.
Are you sure?
Red.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes. Red? 1,000%. Look it up, Andrew. Look it up. Look it up. It's definitely red.
It's definitely red.
Well, when you're dealing with the older system, like I'll put it to you this way: I rewired my house in Washington D.C., and a lot of those they were red. Yeah.
How much? You're a millionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to make some easy money?
No, I'm already a millionaire.
Oh, because
you mean like okay?
Yeah, it's super easy money. If you take a flathead screwdriver, you pan your camera over to an outlet, and you pull it out, and it's black, white, and red, I'll send you $300 right now. But if you lose, you have to send $300 to me.
Well, this house is not the one that's in DC. So I know for a fact that this is not going to be red. I know for a fact that this one's not going to be red.
What color is it going to be?
Black, white.
And?
Are you getting at yellow? But I didn't see yellow in there.
Yellow?
Like, oh, you mean green. Green,
sorry. Dude, come on.
My bad. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, it was a red in that motherfucker.
It can be. It's rare though. I haven't really seen red ever, but okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I was just curious. Bro.
Yeah, and I taught myself how to do that from fucking YouTube videos and all types of shit.
Yeah. What about 220?
220 lines, like for like washers and dryers. No, I never got into that. I'll be honest with you. No.
Gotcha.
I mean, my knowledge for like electrical work is like basic to like fucking uh, ceiling fans, lights, rewiring lights, uh, electrical outlets. I do stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, not the big boy shit.
Gotcha. All right. I was just curious. You know, obviously people can say a lot of what they want, but I can tell you this: it appears, from my standpoint, likely not a master electrician or a journeyman electrician. I would guess that electricians, having worked electrical quite a bit myself, that's really fucking hard work. So I'm not really sure that you're working harder than them. So the reason I bring this up is because it seems like it's a cop out to say that, well, I can do this because I worked really hard to get where I'm at. It's like, but kind of everybody works really hard to get where they're at, even if they don't become a millionaire with a Bugatti, right?
Well, okay, so let me if I can elaborate. I don't know. It's almost like when you're chasing success, or you're trying to make money. Like, majority of the time, you're in these major cities. Nobody looks your way, right? And once you start to make money and you get to that level, everybody's looking your way.
Yeah.
So,
well, just so you know, in the future too, I'll give you a little thing to remember if you're ever working on an outlet again.
Sure.
Right. The way that I always thought of it, is the way I was taught the very first time, was that the blacks and whites are always fighting, and the greens stay neutral.
Oh, you know what my dad taught me? My dad taught me that the black is usually less than the white man, so the black is wired to the smaller part.
What do you say about the greens?
He didn't say anything about the greens.
Didn't say anything about the greens, bastard.
No. He just told me about the black and the white. But it was funny. I mean, he obviously doesn't mean that, but that was just a way to remember that the black cord goes to the smaller one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, no problem there. So, anyway, kind of moving over from that, I still want to get back to this idea of promiscuity and why you think that it's kind of okay for you to be promiscuous. Why do you think that that's a good thing?
So, like I said, in a perfect world, me sleeping with a lot of women, will I have to agree with you that it's not right? Yeah, I will, in a perfect world. But in my situation, I've always been an attractive guy. Haven't always been tall, but I've always been an attractive guy. Kind of hit a growth spur. And girls just weren't checking for me. Even though I was an attractive guy, it was either, you were an athlete or, some type of famous guy. So when I became that famous guy, from how I drove my car, well, how the type of cars I had, the prowess that I had, I don't know. I said, fuck that. I had to wait this whole entire time for anybody to even check for me, even though I've always had the credentials. So yeah, I'm going to fuck chicks because I've never had access to do it.
So why
not as much access to do it.
Why do you have a video on your YouTube trashing Myron Gaines?
Well, I'm trashing Myron Gaines because, well, it was a long time ago, but my problem with Myron Gaines comes from his take on, just like black affairs, if you will. I've never disclosed my race, and no, I'm not actually particularly black myself, but I'm not too keen on him escaping the realities that actually did happen to Black Americans. I think that Black Americans right now, they contribute to a lot of nonsense, but I think as a federal agent, he should understand that when the FBI, the CIA funneled drugs into these major cities through liberal agendas and destroyed the Black family, I think that you should also, mention that as having a person on a, big platform. Yes, they're idiots now, of course, a lot of them, but at the same time, you do have to acknowledge somewhat why they're like that. And I think that he's desensitized.
Yeah, but he has talked about that.
Not really. I mean, all right, give me an example. What did he say?
He's said multiple times that the CIA funneled drugs into the United States, and that there was a crack epidemic which was pushed by the CIA.
Yeah, but he also got on camera and put on a KKK mask and gave a Nazi salute,
As
and
a
it's
joke.
like, okay, cool. I mean, I understand that's a joke. I get that, but it seems
He also
that
makes fun of Chinese people. He makes fun of Hispanic people. He makes fun of
yeah, I
black
see that
people. He
too.
makes fun of white
Listen,
people.
listen. Don't.
By the
Andrew,
way,
don't
I want you to remember in American History X, there was a scene where the black guy in prison grabbed a piece of the laundry and put it on like it was a KKK hat to mock the Nazi in the prison with him, right? So I mean, but what a scumbag for doing that, yeah? Or no?
So I also want to say, I also want to preface this with saying I do have a lot of respect for Myron and what Fresh were able to accomplish. Like the commentary that I had on Myron was just my only gripe with him. But in that video, I also said these guys pioneered the I guess the internet talk show reality, and everybody's copying them. They pioneered that. I witnessed it. I watched it. So
well, he also puts his face behind his claims.
Who? His face?
Yeah, Myron. He puts his face behind his claims.
Yeah, that's fine. He can do that. I mean, if
yeah,
that's,
but that's respectable, right?
No, it's not. I mean, if I'm looking at it, it depends on how you're looking at this. I'm an artist. I'm a fucking artist. This is how.
What does that have to do with anything? Because most artists don't wear masks.
Well, I'm about to explain it if you allow me to.
Sure.
I look at my artwork like Banksy. An individual that has a persona that's bigger than life, and you don't generally know who Banksy is. I look at it like an art form. And that was my angle into YouTube. And I don't think that my angle is wrong. Of course, if I want to be an artist and I want to be anonymous, let me fucking be anonymous. Who cares?
Yeah, but that's not my point, really. My point isn't whether or not you can or can't be anonymous. You can be. My point is that it seems like it's really easy, though, to criticize a guy like Myron, who is a multimillionaire and is a pioneer in his genre, whether you like him or not.
I was a millionaire before he was, okay.
But there's no way to actually verify that. So it seems like
there actually is. If you were one of my followers, you would see it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still, that's kind of a claim, but it's not really backing anything up. So the thing is, what I'm saying is that Myron puts his face by his name. You could have been a millionaire long before Myron, for all I know. Maybe that's completely correct. But the thing is that with Myron, it has to be verified. It always seems like it's really easy for people who are anonymous to kind of make these grandiose claims and also make these grandiose attacks on other people when they themselves have to suffer no scrutiny at all.
Okay, so again, I've never attacked Myron. I literally just
attacked him while we were talking.
Could you just give me a second? I never attacked him completely without saying, like, okay, this is what I like about Myron. This is what I don't like about him. People will look at my material and say, this is what I like about him. This is what I don't like about him. Why is anybody above criticism? If I look at your commentary,
it seems like you want to be above criticism.
No, I don't.
Well, then why don't you take off your mask?
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that.
Oh, it's deeper than that.
Yeah. People know me. I'm tapped in.
People know him too.
Yeah, we probably know a lot of the same people.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
People know him too. He's a target too. Except he does it without a mask on his face. Andrew.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
We probably know a lot of the same people.
I mean, but maybe none of the same people. It's impossible for us to know because you'll never suffer the same kind of scrutiny that Gaines is suffering because you're anonymous and he is not. That's my entire point. So it seems like it's really easy to make a criticism against Myron when you yourself are anonymous. It seems like that's the easiest way to make a criticism.
Well, that's why I did it.
Right, that's why you did it. Because then you can criticize without yourself being criticized.
Partially, yeah, why not?
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that kind of low-tier scumbag behavior?
No, not really. I don't view it that way.
No?
No.
You don't think that remaining anonymous so that you can criticize why somebody else is doing A, B, and C incorrectly as opposed to you who would do things correctly. However, there's no way for people to verify that. It seems like it's just a way for you to criticize without you yourself being criticized. That's all it seems like to me.
Well, not quite, because the only thing that I criticize Myron on is his words. And the only things that you guys can hear is my words. So I'm literally not criticizing him on anything that I can't be criticized on.
Yeah, but there's
So
a distinction here. While I'll grant that perhaps you're criticizing him about his words, and
that's it.
it's being criticized by you as your words, there's also a problem of verifiability, right? So
Not really.
we can take a look at things that Myron says, and then we can verify whether or not they're true. And we can do this because we have his face, we have his name, we have his real name. Everything about the guy is publicly available for you to scrutinize, and so
Which isn't smart.
so you can actually take the words that come out of his mouth, and you don't have to take them at face value. You can actually verify if they're true. Whereas we have to take your words at face value. So there's no way for us to actually criticize those things.
Well, watch a little bit further. You'll see them.
I'll see what.
You'll see the life. The whole movement that I have, it's a grassroots movement, and I want to keep it as grassroots as possible until, the larger my audience grows, the more I'll show. I'll put it that way. Right now, and it's a part of my
movement to do what?
Well, I mean, follow the page. You'll figure it out. I mean, again, my material is really about.
What do you mean?
Not about,
just tell me what it's about, dude.
Yeah, sure. My information is not necessarily about leading anybody anywhere. My information is more about, listen, this is my life. This is how I live it. You take from whatever portion of my life that you like. I keep telling everybody, I look at this in terms of art. When you look at an art piece, it's not, hey, you know what? I hate the Mona Lisa's nose. It's really all about the perspective and, how you look at it. That's how I look at everything. I look at it like art. So, me displaying, all the stuff that I've been through, and people can verify. If you talk to me for 2 seconds and you're a seasoned real estate guy, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I might not be the best, electrician in the world, but I know how to fucking wire a fucking outlet. Just based on saying, hey, the black one goes into the smaller one. I mean, goes, it's tied into the smaller portion. The white one is tied into the bigger one, given the allegory of what my father taught me.
Well, I mean, you know what alternating current is, right?
Sure.
You do know versus direct current, because that. Well, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but what would happen if you wired the wires in reverse? What do you think happens then?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I bought that little piece that when you plug it in, it'll tell you whether it's wired wrong.
Oh, okay.
Listen, gotcha. I'm honest about my shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's what, like $10, $15 you can buy it from Home Depot. You plug it in. If you wired it wrong, they'll say this shit's wired wrong.
Gotcha. All right. So but anyway, kind of back to the criticism. I'm just kind of wondering, ultimately, what is this grassroots movement? What is it all about? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And by the way, the key question is, are you charging for it, and do you plan on charging for it?
When I first started, I had like Patreon. I had Patreon, and I was kind of broadcasting certain products. But after a while, I just said, you know what, fuck it, I'll just give the content out for free. So no, I don't really, honestly. I don't think I want to charge. I already have enough money. Eventually, I'll probably get like ad revenue, I guess, from, if they don't cancel me or something like that. But I don't know. My life right now, I pretty much don't have much to do, because of how I built my life. I'm in meetings all day, but it's on the phone. So I'm not really doing that much. I look at YouTube as kind of like an outlet and a way to speak. So when I talk to people, I do it from like an artistic lens, and I'm like, hey, this is what I believe, not necessarily what I believe, but this is how I am. This is my life. This is where I started at. Because a lot of people want to know, okay, well, how do I make money? So I tell people, this is how I made money. This is what I feel. And everybody has a right to not want to, subscribe to me or not want to listen to me. But only thing I'm doing is just giving the perspective of a person that came from absolutely no money to a person that is a multimillionaire with over 57 rental properties.
We can't verify.
You can verify it.
Okay, how would I verify it?
Well, I can't tell you that because you probably would then go do it. But if
Yeah,
you
but
were,
you just told me to do it.
so I'll put it to you this way: if you look at some of the things that I post, you'll be able to figure out who owns what. And every city that I'm in, they have a registry for who owns what properties. You'll be able to find me fairly quickly, very quickly. You can look up an LLC, you can type it in and say, okay, who owns? See, this is what I'm saying. I'm giving you guys too much fucking information to dox myself. You know what? I'm not answering that question, Andrew.
I mean, it doesn't sound like you gave us really any information. You just said you can go to cities and look at rental properties.
No, so the properties that I have are actually like well known like historical landmarks in the cities, right? So if I'm broadcasting anything about those places, you'll know exactly where it is. Like I don't live in like the outskirts of New York City. I live in the heart of everything. I don't live in the outskirts of Philadelphia. I live in where the country was actually founded, like literally around the corner from where the country was founded. So if I show you anything about that building, you're going to know exactly what that building is because it's on the registry.
Yeah, so listen. So normally I don't give a shit about this, right? If somebody says I'm just on the internet giving my opinion, I don't fucking care. You can be on the internet and give your opinion. I mean, everybody does that every single day, anonymous, not anonymous, or this or that. But in your particular case, it seems that you're kind of pushing that you're a person who should be listened to based around the fact that you're a gajillionaire, right? A million or a multimillionaire. You did it young. You did everything correctly. That's what kind of you're banking on to give you your credibility. So why would it be of concern to you if people wanted to verify that? Because that's what you're banking on to be credible.
Well, listen, I'm doing this as a hobby. I can give a fuck less what these people want. I'm just going online telling people what the realness of this shit is. I'm swimming in my 4,000. How much do you think a 4,000 square foot home with a swimming pool in Manhattan costs? I mean, just come on, use some rough estimates in your head. Think about it.
I don't know. I really have no
At
idea.
least
Multiple millions, I would guess.
At least 3.5 million. Okay, so if I have that in my arsenal, what do you? Come on, think about it.
Yeah, I know, but the question is whether or not it's actually true that you have that in your arsenal.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if you are on my community tab, I post it, and also the earlier videos, you can see the goddamn.
Yeah, I did go and take a look. I've been kind of
delete them after 5 hours.
Kind of looking at the community tab, but
I deleted after 5 hours, Andrew.
Yeah, it doesn't show us much.
Again, every time I post something, I delete it after 5 hours. When you look at my, what'd you say?
Why?
Because I don't want people to track me, Andrew.
Yeah,
they will.
Yeah, but why would you care if somebody knew that you were in a big giant? I mean, wouldn't that give you all that credibility that you're after? I don't actually understand this.
It would give me a line of motherfuckers outside of my house, Andrew.
Why would a line of people go outside of your house?
I'll give you an example. I gave the example before you came home. I'll give you another example. When I first started riding 911 Porsches in the city of I won't even say the city, but when I started riding around, I would generally go to the same spots. And one night I'm coming home, driving into my garage, which was also on one of my earlier contents. You can see that, but I'm driving into my garage, and 2 blocks down the street, I see a guy with a face mask on. Nobody has a face mask on. He has a face mask on with the trunk open, looking directly into my garage.
Well, there's one guy here with a face mask on.
Yeah, that's why so, I can't identify.
It's not totally unheard of, right? But anyway, go ahead. I was just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, that yeah, but what I'm saying is I could have died from that instance. So, going through stuff like that really kind of shapes of, my non-trusting of giving my identity out. And also understanding how things work at the top. I know how things work at the top when you're in a liberal city. They will target your fucking ass from left to right. You want a permit done? Fuck no.
Well, let me ask this a different way then. Let me ask this a different way.
Yeah, that's my poll. What about it?
Yeah, so assuming that what you're banking on, again, I don't care if you give your opinion on the internet or anything in between. That's completely your business and frankly none of mine. But if you are banking on people giving you credibility based on accomplishment, and that seems to be kind of where the bank is here. Why should anybody give you any credibility if they can't verify the accomplishment? I guess that's the question.
Hey, listen, that's up to your imagination. I mean, just listen to the content that I'm saying. You know, if anybody knows anything about real estate and the concepts that I'm explaining and how simple I'm explaining it, like, I mean, it's just common sense, for me.
Yeah, but couldn't a man who owned absolutely no real estate know a ton about real estate?
No,
No?
mm-mm. Not about the gray areas. Not about the gray areas. No.
Like what kind of gray areas?
Teaching you how to, pull permits and turn a single family house into a duplex. Like, not necessarily. They wouldn't know that kind of stuff.
I mean, couldn't they just work for somebody who's good at that stuff, pick that stuff up, and then just not do it themselves? I mean, that seems reasonable to me. I don't see why they
I mean,
couldn't know tons about real estate without actually owning tons of real estate.
the chances of that happening, yeah, that could happen. But realistically, people that talk about certain concepts, like, I'll put it to you like this: I came from the hedge fund world. If there are certain things that a person can tell me about a hedge fund that only a person that's invested in hedge funds really knows.
Like what?
Um, well, I'll get in trouble if I say, but gray area investing.
Why would
And
you get in
investing.
trouble if you said it? If you just explain the knowledge, it wouldn't mean that you were engaged in any of that, right? It just means that you have the knowledge. So, like, what? What do you mean?
Well, here's the thing. When you're dealing with a gray area, there are things that are not illegal right now, but that can be illegal. An example,
Okay.
the statute of limitations is well expired. I did this a long time ago, but technically converting a single family home into multi-family without necessarily pulling a permit, it's a gray area.
Yeah, but what would
Technically,
that have to do with a gray area of a hedge fund, though?
no. What I'm saying is, from a hedge fund, like, there are certain things that a person can tell me about a hedge fund that only a person that has invested in hedge funds would know.
Like
And
what?
that's what I'm trying to relate about the real estate. There are certain things and certain actions that typically only owners and operators of real estate and that have, garnered a lot of real estate would know, being the gray areas. But I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, you could work for somebody else and know these things, but typically somebody who knows these things don't have 4,000 square feet gardens with fucking swimming pools. I mean, even getting
Yeah,
a
but we
fucking
don't know if you do.
look at the content. What am I? Even if I don't own this and I'm renting this, how much do you think that would cost? That probably would
Maybe
cost
just at your buddy's house.
forever.
I don't know. Maybe your parents own it.
Come on.
Well, I mean, he
My
keeps saying that,
my
but I mean,
parents,
there's no
my parents.
good reason for me not to be skeptical, right?
I understand that you should be skeptical, but let me explain. My parents gave me nothing. They don't have anything. They have it now because I gave it to them. But I get what you're saying. I mean, somebody that's looking for reasons. But I'll put it to you this way: why don't you find a reason to disqualify me as opposed to just saying I could? Just look at
Well,
my
the
content.
reason I have to do so here's the thing. The reason that I would have to disqualify from you in this case is that it seems that you want to kind of bank your credibility on your expertise based around your accomplishment, but I can't verify the accomplishment. So if I were for instance going to hire you for a job,
I
and
don't
you
work job.
yeah, no, but if I were to hire you for a job or want to hire you for a job and you
Sure.
said, look, I have tons of experience laying concrete, and I couldn't actually verify that you had any experience laying concrete, why the fuck would I hire you?
Well, here's the difference. A person that's looking for approval or looking for somebody to do something for them has to go through those obstacles. Personally, I don't give a fuck whether people believe me or not. I'm not selling any material. Nobody's giving me any money. I'm doing this because I want to do it. Nobody's paying me for shit. So I don't care but if a person looks closely enough, they will understand that I own everything for sure.
Okay, gotcha. And
I,
then
I even I even posted majority of my properties and majority of the things that I was actually doing building stages on my community tab before somebody tried to dox me. So I removed it all. And then I said to myself, yeah, it was pretty much really good that I didn't fuck. Yeah, that's me.
then why are you wearing a mask, bro?
That's not really like, if you see me in person, it's kind of like obscured version of my face. So
I mean, it looks like it's not very obscure.
It is. If you see me in person, you wouldn't be able to recognize me from that.
How would I
At
not
all.
be able to? I mean, that's a full. That would be the same angle that you're at right now with the one side of your face.
No. I'm telling you, it's way different. It's way. I look way different. Like I look like that for sure, but you would have to like look at me like this and look like really hard, and it's not like you. Like you're crystal clear. If I see you down the street, I'm like, yo, that's Andrew.
Yeah, I know, but that's just really weird because I mean, if that's
I'm
your
weird,
face,
Andrew. I'm
yeah,
weird.
you're
I'm
weird.
weird.
I mean, you're kind of weird, right? It's like
I'm weird as fuck, Andrew. You're just getting that. You like, I'm just surprised that everybody comes to this conclusion that Millionaire Bachelor is a little bit weird. Yes, I'm weird.
Why would they
I'm
have
a
to be weird to be a millionaire?
in my
I mean,
early 30s.
I know a lot of millionaires that don't seem that weird to me.
Well, I don't know. I'm an artist. I mean,
I'm
I don't look
not
at,
anywhere near
but,
a millionaire, by the way, at
but
all.
listen,
But
I
I
don't
mean,
look at weird
I
as a
know
bad
quite a
thing.
few, and they don't seem that
I
weird.
don't, but I don't look at weird as a bad thing. So I look at life in terms of art. Most people would consider that weird. So I'm honest about it. But it makes me fun. It makes me fun to be around because you never know what the fuck is going to happen next.
Well, let me ask you just a couple of pointed questions, and just just be honest with me, okay? Is this a fake it till you make it thing?
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Hell no.
It's a you already made it. You're not faking it, right?
1,000% I'm not faking this shit. I'll show you. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Where my fucking phone at? Hold up. Pull this shit out right now. Am I faking it till I'm making it? Now I got surveillance over my all of my properties. Hold on 1 second. Pull up so you can see this shit. Hold on. Let me tilt the screen this way. Oh, wait, hold on. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
No, this ain't no fake it till you fucking make it at all. This is, and you can see that if you can see the counter as it's countering, that's my house. All of this shit. Oh fuck, sorry. Yeah, all this shit is mine.
Oh well, here. Let me counter with this.
Sure.
So. Well, look. So, that's mine, right? That's my house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't know what that proves.
Okay, hold on. Let's go to.
I also have a surveillance system at my house, and that actually is showing the pool. It's just night vision, so you can't really see it that well. But I don't know what that proves exactly.
Well, you just said, "Am I faking it till I make it?" Like typically, a person that like has surveillance, like I don't know, you're looking at it to disqualify me, and I don't look at it that way because I own the shit, so I'm not thinking about it in that way. Like I'm not thinking like, oh man, I could be working for somebody else and it might not be mine. No, I fucking own it. Hold on, wait 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can cover this shit up. Hold on. I don't know how to show you this. Hold on. No, not that one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Well, I can't cover it up, but this is just literally one LLC of filings for 1 year. Just one of them. This is over. How many pages is this shit? Over 100 pages of taxes. Literally over 100 pages of taxes on one LLC.
Bro, my H&R Block tax portfolio is 5 times thicker than that.
That's one LLC.
Yeah, that's just from 1 year of filing taxes.
1
year of filing taxes, it's like that thick. And that's just with a job, right?
No. Then whoever's doing your taxes is incompetent for sure.
I mean, probably it's H&R Block,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's ridiculous for a W-2. First of all, you could do an easy fucking whatever they call the easy shit. I haven't done that in ages, but over 100 pages on just a W-2 job, that's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, I mean it's pretty thick. I'm not gonna lie. Just and then everything's in a triplicate.
For just a W-2 job, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
for like joint filing, and yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you have to go through, and yeah, it's pretty it's like surprisingly, it's pretty thick. You know, it's like surprisingly a lot of paperwork from an H&R Block.
No, you got to get Andrew. This is something that my lawyer taught me. When you start making money, man, you got to get a real accountant.
Well, I mean, I have a real accountant, but I wouldn't consider myself somebody who makes a lot of money. So, at all.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. I think shortly you might be surprised. I mean, your content is. I don't even fucking know you, but I've seen you. So if I've seen you, and I'm probably nowhere around you, geographically, it's probably going to translate into some dollars pretty soon. So you might want to invest in that accountant pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would anyway, but I mean, there has to be money to count for it to be accounted for, right? So, but anyway, so the last thing though, I'm just wondering, the idea that the red pill is bad. What does that mean in this?
Yeah, because the red pill teaches you to hate women. I don't teach you to hate women. I teach you that women
they're fucking inferior in their babies, dude. What are you talking about?
That doesn't mean I hate them.
Would you just love them like you love babies?
Exactly, Andrew.
Well, then the thing is that if your idea,
I love babies, Andrew.
If your idea is that the red pill just hates women because women are not held to account for their actions, then essentially we're back to this kind of infantilization problem again, where you're infantilizing them again.
Let me explain. Let me explain for a second. The reason why I don't think that the red pill is healthy is because the red pill will literally have you hating women. And I don't think that that's healthy, because as I said, I think that men were made for women and women were made for men. So I don't think that you should necessarily hate her. You should understand the state that she's in, and what the danger of the situation might be. But you can't hate her, because first of all, women are being used as pawns by the liberal machine. Women are being used as pawns by the liberal fucking machine.
So back to they have no agency again, right?
It's not that they don't have any agency. It's just easier to sell to women. They're 80% of the consumer base. They're 80% of the consumer base because they spend other men's money as well. If the bar,
I would agree that they're kind of easier to brainwash, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to hold them responsible for that, right?
I'm just saying, if this person is easier to be brainwashed and she's going along with the brainwashing, you shouldn't hate her for it, because what are they got this fucking saying where it's like you're not blaming the person who's actually really responsible for it. The person that's really responsible for it is the people that are pushing this bullshit and telling women that they should be fucking single forever. They're the people that's wrong, not the women. And I tell the people that follow the red pill shit, don't follow that shit, because they're teaching you that the woman is the evil person, and she's not. She's going along.
They don't teach you that. The red pill is just a dossier of information, and you basically come to your own conclusions based on these descriptors, right? So I would agree with a lot of red pill descriptors. I don't agree with a lot of red pill content creators who might, prism these descriptors into kind of these, bizarre outcome-based, phony baloney praxeologies or whatever, right? But the red pill itself just being a set of descriptors, I don't see any problem with that.
Well, like I said, again, it's semantics, and I could clarify. So I understand what you're saying. You're basically saying like the red pill philosophy is teaching you this. Is the content creators that you might have an issue with. I would agree with you.
The red pill philosophy is not really teaching you anything. It's just giving you descriptors. Let me give you a simple descriptor. Sure. Women on average like men who are tall.
True.
Okay, so you could take that descriptor though, and you could say, well, this woman's never going to like me because I'm not tall. That would be a bad way to apply that descriptor, right?
Right, which is why I'm saying I understand what you're saying in the sense of the actual, if you want to say the descriptors is not wrong, it's the people that take that message and then vilify the women.
Yeah, but that would be you. You're taking the descriptors of the red pill and then you're making category error by applying. You are.
Absolutely not.
Then what red pill descriptors are false?
No. You just said that I was doing something. What did you say that what I was doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I was pointing this out. If none of the red pill descriptors that you can name are false, then that would mean that you're making a category error by applying what the red pill teaches you X would be wrong. You would have to have creators who are teaching X. Well, can you name those creators for me and what you actually disagree with?
But that's what I'm trying to say. So my issue is with the actual creators. And no, I'm not going to give these people any fucking publicity. I don't know them.
What publicity? You have a teeny tiny channel, dude. What publicity you think you're going to give
these people who are tiny forever, Andrew? Yeah, my shit's going to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, and more power to you if it does. Maybe. You know what? Andrew. Great. You're going to have the biggest channel on YouTube. Sure.
Oh, I know.
And I don't care if you do. Like, I'm happy if you do. Have a great
big. You'll be my first guest.
Yeah, enormous. Have an enormous channel. I'm happy for you. But if you're saying thing X bad, you agree that thing X actually isn't bad. It's just people who are using it in a bad way or using these descriptors wrong. Then who are these people? What are their names?
I don't have to name the people. I don't have to name them.
You don't have to, but then it kind of seems disingenuous that you'd make the claim that it's wrong.
No, it doesn't, because everybody knows what I'm talking about. They know that there are individuals in the space that are, every day they're talking about how bad women are. And what I'm saying is, instead of just let me finish, Andrew. What I'm saying is, instead of saying how bad women are, you should be talking about the people that are behind the bullshit that they're fucking doing.
Well, okay. Well, let me counter with, I don't think any of them are talking about how bad women are unless you can name one.
Well, then I would have to concede the conversation to you.
Because I'm not naming those motherfuckers. Yeah, you can't name them. Okay. Well, this has been at least somewhat unproductive, but kind of funny. I think it's a good troll, honestly. It's
not a troll. It's not a troll. You can't fathom me because listen, here's the thing.
All right.
When you don't understand a certain person's lifestyle and you don't understand how a person lives, then it becomes, oh, maybe this might not be real. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm doing this shit for free. What the fuck do I care?
If you're not trying to impress anybody, then why do you have footage of you flying around helicopters and shit?
Because that's some impressive shit.
Well, then you're trying to impress people.
No, I'm not. I'm just showing my life.
Okay, let's go back and go through this again. I'm not trying to impress anybody. Then why are you flying around for helicopters and showing people that? Because that's impressive.
So that means I'm trying to impress somebody because I'm riding around in helicopters?
Well, by your standard, you said the reason that you show that is because it's impressive, which means you must be trying to impress people.
That was a joke. It was sarcasm.
That was sarcasm. Well, okay. Well, then why are you doing it?
Because I'm just showing my life. What's wrong with me showing my life?
There's nothing wrong with you showing your life. That's not my point. My point is, I'm just asking.
Andrew.
Okay, I'm listening.
I haven't had a job in over 15 years.
I believe that could be true.
I do not. Thank you for that. I do not subscribe to anybody's, way of life. I don't live like anybody else, unfortunately. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
you're trying to draw a connection, but you can't.
Well, I mean, I can't. That's true, but I can't also verify anything. So what I'm just going to leave with is, well, I remain unconvinced.
Listen, I'll say this, Andrew. I'll say this. I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of your work, but I would say that I do respect your grind and your hustle, man. I will say that.
What? Well, wait. What part of my work are you not a fan of?
No. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that I'm a fan, meaning that I subscribe to.
Well, how come you're not a fucking fan? I need some fucking. I need some millionaire fans to come over and send us some donos, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, subscribe tonight. Be a fucking fan. What's wrong with you? Come be a fan. What? Send me some of that good millionaire money. Stop taking helicopter rides and send it to the Crucible so I can get my message out there. What are you talking about?
Let me ask you a question. If I scheduled a helicopter ride and we did an interview on that helicopter ride, would you be down for that?
No, I don't like helicopters.
Come on, man. What the fuck? All right, I'm gonna think of
I don't trust them.
Plus, how you want to do an interview in a helicopter? They're fucking loud. We'd have to be talking through a radio.
I know, but it would be fucking cool.
Would it be cool? I mean, especially over New York. I mean, helicopter rides over New York aren't even that much money. Is it a couple $1,000? It's not very much.
Well, it depends on where you're going, but yeah.
But I mean, it's just a big tourist attraction. I mean, when we were there, I was out there not that long ago for for an interview I was doing with somebody, and we were taking a look at that. We were looking at the helicopter rides, and they were about $2,000 per person. They weren't even very bad, right?
I mean, well, 2000. Listen, I'm a guy that came from nothing, so 2000 is still 2000.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, how impressive is it in retrospect? Is $2,000 for a helicopter ride? You're a multimillionaire. Why are you using that to impress people? That's weird.
No, not really. I was going from one city to another.
Now here's what I'll do. Schedule a helicopter ride over Alaska where we can shoot timber wolves, and then I'll go do an interview with you doing that. That sounds awesome.
Hold on. I'm gonna write that in my phone. Timberwolves, Alaska helicopter.
Timberwolves, right. Alaska helicopter. I'll definitely go out for that.
Timberwolves. Are you committing to this?
Yeah.
All right. You got yourself a fucking deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go shoot some Timberwolves from a helicopter in Alaska. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm down for that.
Where can I reach you at?
You can DM me on Twitter.
Twitter?
Yeah, at Paleo ChristCon. Yep.
All right, I'll put. What's your Twitter? I'm sorry.
At Paleo, PALEO, Christ, CHRIST, Con, CON.
Paleo Christ Con.
Yep.
All right, you got yourself a deal.
All right, that sounds great. All right, well, I appreciate the convo. Enjoy, Speakeasy. Thank you for having me on your stream as usual. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for coming, man.
You're the man.